Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Work From Home Show. Shout out to all our homies, homeboys, homegirls, home trans, all the work from homers out there. I'm Naresh. Today we have an awesome guest with us. We have Judge Jeanine. Probably seen her on Fox News. Her full name is Jeanine Pirro. She is a host of Justice with Judge Jeanine. Previously, she hosted Judge Jeanine Pirro, a syndicated court show for which she won an Emmy award. She has a storied legal career. Let's just say she became the first female, everything. I mean, first female.
Yeah, good. Let it go with that.
There's a lot there. Let's just say the first female attorney for everything. She's a #1 New York Times bestseller of Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, The Case Against the Anti-Trump Conspiracy, Radicals, Resistance, and Revenge, The Left's Plot to Remake America. That's the second book. And then also Don't Lie to Me and Stop Trying to Steal Our Freedom. And then her new book is called Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. Judge Jeanine, thanks for joining us on the Work From Home Show. It's truly an honor.
Well, thank you. And look, whatever I've done, there's no comparison to what's happening in America today. There is an effort by the left to take down this country. We are nothing more than a globalist landing spot with benefits for anyone who makes the decision that they want to come here. And they get all of the benefits, education, medication, housing, whatever they need. And in the end, we have no idea who they are. What is happening in America today is that we are no longer a sovereign nation with borders. We are literally nothing more than a global landing spot with benefits for anyone who demands entry. And once they do, they're entitled to education, medication, housing. We let them in without knowing who they are. And the federal judge just a few weeks ago said to the Biden administration, forced them to at least give alien registration numbers to individuals that are being released into the interior of the country because we're not identifying them in any way. We don't have any information about who they are and from whence they've come. We are in a situation where in this country, we are starting to see individuals and we don't know who they are. And in addition to that, we've got a burden on local governments where now we've got governors fighting with each other, mayors fighting with each other. New York City, 50% of the hotels in New York City are filled with illegals, okay? And they're now moving kids out of schools to put them into illegals into the gyms. And it just goes on from there. And the problem is we don't know, who has America as, a country they want to be loyal to, or who is a criminal from another country. And even I saw RFK yesterday he visited the border, RFK Jr. He said, I saw people from Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Nepal, China, West Africa. They're all coming through the border. They have no identification. We're not getting, and even with children, we're not even getting DNA from them. We're literally giving them to these non-government organizations, these NGOs. And even the New York Times wrote an article about how they're being used in violation of child labor laws. But that's just one crime in crimes against America. You've got our freedom of speech that's being taken down. We saw it during the Obama administration when they said, Obama said, the future cannot belong to those who slander the Prophet Muhammad. He said this at the UN. Wait a minute. There's a free speech in this country. What are you talking about? And then fast forward to the 2020 election with Hunter Biden's laptop. We weren't allowed to talk about it on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook.
It wasn't just the laptop. It wasn't even just a lap. There was so much, the pandemic, the lab leak, the vaccine. I got censored by social media.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? I put something out there. I don't know, it was relatively innocuous because I knew they were looking at everything and, they would be especially critical with me. Well, of course, they took it down. And I had my girlfriend, who's a hairdresser, put the same thing on her social media, on the same social media, and it was up for months.
Yeah, they
There
target.
is, yeah, they target, and there is a move in this by the left to make America last. And that's why I wrote Crimes Against America. Also, you've got the defunding of police. When I ran for DA over and over again, one of the things that I would tell the people in my county was, you need me. You need me to fight crime, because if I fight crime, and your businesses will prosper, your home values will go up, you'll be safe, your children will be safe. But the truth is, they're defunding police now. They're putting in George Soros funded DAs, and their belief is everybody should be out of jail. Cashless bail, social justice. I don't know what that is. Do you know what social justice is? No one has ever defined it. So, we're in a hell of a mess in this country. And we've got to recognize that all of the foundations, all of the institutions, they are being taken down one by one. Education. Look at what happened in Loudoun County, and that got a governor elected when Americans stood up and said, I've had enough of this nonsense. You're not going to teach my child that because my child is white that they're automatically an oppressor and that they're a supremacist. And you're not going to you're not going to show my kid who's 7 years old how to have oral sex with someone the same gender. I mean, when I was a DA, I'd prosecute them for child pornography. I mean, it is funny. It really is. This is crazy town.
Well,
So,
it's funny because, and it's really sad because I know I'm not white and I find it hilarious. And I'm a parent of very young kids, under the age of 5, 2 kids under the age of 4. And these kids are so innocent and they just
oh,
literally
yeah.
all they know is what they're exposed to. And the
Yeah.
idea of exposing them, okay, forget about the pornographic stuff, but the idea of even exposing them to just everyday people and saying, hey, this your classmate is white and his great 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 grandfather, was a bad person, therefore this kid is a bad person too. It's actually it seems like a fiction satire, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, it's like what is going on in America is like a dystopian, movie. It is frightening. And, I must tell you on a personal level, you touched my heart when you said, they're so innocent. They are innocent. They're babies. They are impressed. I mean, they're like their little minds, their little brains are like sponges, and they take in whatever you tell them. And they look to us with trust, and they're so vulnerable. And it's a Marxist mentality. And by the way, Barack Obama, he was a student of Karl Marx. And Barack Obama during his administration had a stick figure, and I talk about this in Crimes Against America. A little girl named Julia. I don't know if you remember. It was a diagram. Julia is born, right? She has a mother. She's born, and then she gets SNAP, and then she gets all kinds of benefits from the state, and then she gets Planned Parenthood, and then she gets a Pell Grant to go to school. There's no family in sight. It's all the kid and the state. Okay. You fast forward to Joe Biden, and he's telling the teachers, the kids are yours. The kids are yours. No, they're not. They're our kids. That's a Marxist theory that the kids belong to the state. And that's what's going on. So whether it's education, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's the border, whether it is the healthcare system and forcing people to take, vaccines, and maybe they don't want to. And, there's still people, and by the way, there are 300 new medical periodicals that take apart everything that they told us to do. And, even things that were in the Lancet, which is this respected medical journal. Americans need to have their freedom of speech. We need to have the ability to, be free from government overreach. And if you look at the 2016 election, the Durham report tells us that Hillary Clinton made up the Russia collusion a hoax because she wanted to get rid of the email scandal that was like a burden on her. And she told Joe Biden and she told Barack Obama, a president and a vice president, that what she was doing. And so they lied. They got an affidavit to spy on an American so that they could spy on a presidential candidate. I mean, this is not what happens in a first world country. This is what happens in banana republics.
Banana republics, yeah. You're probably going to disagree with me on this because this is the way I see it. You have, it's bipartisan. You have one party that is dependent, not independent. They are dependent on the other party for survival, really. They're dependent on the other party's constituents to pay the bulk of the taxes, to redistribute their wealth. And forget about the wealth. Their entire platform is really to take down the other side. It's to take down the other side's children. I know this is not popular, but I feel like if the Republicans or if people who just believe in capitalism and free markets and the American dream, if they put their foot down and said, hey, we want to secede or we want to become independent, well, then the other side, the Democrats or the liberals are going to be like, whoa, we need you. If you guys leave, we won't be able to survive. How are we going to get all of our funding?
What you're describing, and I kind of see it on a bigger scale than the specifics that you're talking about. You're describing a frustration that is so great, that is so dire that, we almost go to the end, to the extreme. When in truth, we do need each other. When in truth, we did work together for many, many years. And at the same time, we were able to have a successful country that was a first world country. But, what's happened now is the hate has become so divisive. The hate has become so prevalent that we don't see that. We don't have that ability anymore. But I don't go to that extreme. I don't think that we can. I don't think it's a good idea. But, they've got to try to negotiate in a way where we've got to be in a position where we can start to agree and work together, as opposed to the ridiculous nonsense that we've seen. Some of the ideas are too extreme. Some of the ideas are so extreme that, people in their frustration will vent that kind of thing. But we've got to work together. We've got to be able to figure this thing out. Look, we had a civil war and we were able to work together. So I'm not so ready to, throw away everything. I think we can work
it's
it all
just a
out.
concept of, if you've read any of Ayn Rand's stuff, The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, John Galt, he basically leaves, takes the wealthy people with him, they disappear, they start their own country, and then America is left in shambles because the fact of the matter is, yes, without companies, without corporations, without wealthy people, there are if that all disappears, then who's going to work? Because the lower classes, they're just not capable of starting, or mentally they're told that they're not capable of starting their own businesses or being job creators. They're told from the time they're, like you said, 4 years old, 5 years old, that they are oppressed and that there's systemic racism, and the only way out is things like affirmative action or taking handouts. And it's the worst mindset, the worst mentality. I know what I said is somewhat extreme. I'm not saying it should be done, but it should be a negotiating tool. I'm somewhat upset that the Republicans caved on the debt ceiling. I thought this was a great opportunity to cut even more entitlements, to cut more. And look, I'm for spending if it's worth it, but I'm not for all this unnecessary pork spending. I'm not for moral hazard of bailing out a nanny state. I'm not for any of those things. So maybe we get a leader, a Ronald Reagan type of leader. I mean, just look at the numbers. Look at his reelection for his second term. Like, he really reunited the nation, or united the nation. Maybe we get a candidate like that. I don't see it right now with, Biden, bless his soul, but he doesn't even know what day of the week it is today.
And, the shame about someone like Joe Biden is, he should be on a beach somewhere relaxing. I don't know why his family, or maybe we do know why his family is insisting that he stay in the White House. Look, Jill is the one who's been kind of pushing him around. And if you recall, Jill is the one who said, oh, yeah, he's running for re-election. And they came back to the White House and they said, Mr. President, the First Lady said, you're running again. And his answer was, she did. She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because they need this. And if anything, if we found out anything, it's about a pay to play. And it's about the fact that, $10 million went into Hunter Biden's businesses and then was divvied up during the time that Joe Biden was vice president. And now we've got that 1023 form that, indicates that there was a pay to play. But look, here's the bottom line, and I've got to go. The bottom line is America's worth saving, and we can save her. I see positive things coming in the future. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Judge. Really
Bye.
appreciate it. All the best.
I appreciate you.
And to all our listeners, check us out at workfromhomeshow.com. That's www.workfromhomeshow.com. Get on our mailing list. You can catch us on social media. Just type in Work From Home Show, Twitter, Facebook, a few others. That was Judge Jeanine Pirro with Fox News. The website is foxnews.com. You can watch her. She hosts a daily show, Fox News Justice with Judge Jeanine. Her latest book is Crimes Against America, The Left's Takedown of Our Republic. If you have any questions at all, if you want to share your thoughts, hello@workfromhomeshow.com. That's hello@workfromhomeshow.com. And until next week, keep on working from home.